Yo, what up, everyone? Zono here, coming at you with a new podcast. I hope you guys are doing very well. Today, I read a very interesting article on the Score Esport. I will link it down below if you want. Um, and it's about the thing that is right here. The University of Toronto, one of the biggest university in Canada, announced their first esports scholarship. So I'm going to describe what the scholarship is all about, and I will give my opinion about it, and see what you guys think, etc., etc. So don't forget to leave in the comment down below your opinion about this. And also, I want to know if in your school there's anything esports related, and do you think that esports scholarship could be something that would be there in the next few years or so? So, the University of Toronto founded the first scholarship that is specific to electronic sports, esports, and it's founded by alumnus and global equity investor called Victor Xin. So, probably a name that we want to remember. Maybe in the future we'll talk more about this Victor Xin. Maybe he will talk in an interview or something like some big websites or entities like ESPN Esports will go talk to him and see what was his motivation and his motive behind it, etc. One thing to know is that it's a very specific scholarship, and it's something that I think it's weird. I'm not entirely sure of how the US system works for that, but let me explain. So the Victor Zinn Scholarship in esports will be rewarded to one full-time student. Okay, so one condition: he has to be a full-time undergrad student. He has to be in an applied science and engineering major with at least 3.5 GPA, which is which is not that high, but it's high. It's a high GPA. It's definitely a high GPA. I think it's a minus GPA or so, or a B plus. He needs to have a passion for esports and gaming. I mean, obviously, it doesn't say he has to be a pro gamer. It doesn't say he has to work in business or in marketing or in applied science. It just says for esports, and he needs to participate in the University of Toronto Esports Club. So esports club, I mean, they must have some kind of organization among obviously like a lot of students that play video games and are interested in esports. We also have this in my university here in San Francisco, where we watch LCS together. We do viewing parties, and we do a lot of stuff. And okay, so one thing as well that the article say is that we don't know how much the scholarship is about, and what is so that's the thing that is not entirely clear, and that's the thing that I want to discuss is that uh, what is the motive of this scholarship? Are they paying some? Are they giving money someone to pursue his entrepreneurial goals in esports? Is this someone who wants to create a company in esports and I need the funding and needs a scholarship? Because he's studying applied science and engineering. How is he gonna relate? Does this need to be related to esports directly or indirectly? I'm not sure, and I think like there's a lot of vagueness to it. So I'm not really gonna talk about this. I really want to talk about everything around how a scholarship can help the industry grow and how it's gonna help a lot of young people when they go to college transfer into an esports career. Because the thing we have to know is that today the kids that grow up, at least in America, and this is something I've learned at IEM Oakland. That was like in November of last year. Sorry if you heard that. Uh, in November last year, is that the young people, the ones who are like 10, 12, 13, even 14-year-old, they're not watching soccer. They're not watching the NFL. They're not watching hockey. Like, they are watching esports. And they tell me that all their friends are watching esports. Everyone is watching Counter Strike. Everyone knows about it. Today, we are in a situation for my generation where most people don't know about it, but the people who know about it know a lot about it. But we are transferring into a position where the generation that is today 10 to 14 years old, in 5 years, in 6 years, in 8 years, will go to college and will be able to access those scholarship to pursue their career, to pursue their studies, etc., etc. So I think it's very soon to say that it's going to be very good, it's going to be like a huge impact for the industry. Today, we know that the University of Toronto wants to help one kid. One kid out of how many? I have no idea. I don't know how big the club is in Toronto. I don't know how big the gaming community is big there. But it's still something that they are interested in and they're willing to put some funds uh, into esports, which is something that they've never done before. So funds come from people's donation, it comes from the university revenue, it comes from a lot of stuff, and it's usually budgeted very well. And the fact that they're willing to give a sum of money to esports is very interesting, and hopefully it will encourage other universities to be competitive towards this, and also offer scholarships and more money in one scholarship, etc., etc., etc. So it's something that I really want to follow up on. It's a very small article from the Score. Esports, great website basically for content. And I basically told you everything that the article, so I don't think you'll learn anything from reading the article, but I really want to know what you guys think of this. Like, would you see your university offer an esports scholarship? Personally, in my university, which is a business scholarship, I don't know. I don't like the thing is that I'm having a very unclear thought is that so if I'm a student in as a business marketing major and the school that gives me an esports scholarship, I would probably spend the money on creating like a website or esports organization or building an infrastructure, etc., etc. But I feel like most scholarship are more into your application to college. When you apply to college, you ask for a scholarship for this, and that. And I feel this would be a better fit since as I explained, the young people that are in middle school right now, in high school, that are watching esports would like to go to college pursuing an esports or gaming career. So I think this would be more fitted. But I think that the University of Toronto is just trying things out. But I really want to know what you think. Whether it's a scholarship for application, or it's a mid way through school scholarship, or it's any kind of scholarship. And if you were to be a scholarship owner for esports, what would you spend the money on? Would you spend money on material to become a pro gamer? Would you create your own business? Would you organize your own organization with your friends, etc., etc.? Would you create like a tournament website or stuff like this? And yeah, just let me know what you guys think and what you would do with the money. I'm very actually curious to know. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Wishing you the best day. And yeah, see you next time.